Let's hit it. Sweet. If anybody's out there on Facebook, you can let me know that we're recording and if that recording is actually coming up on the screen properly. I can actually maybe chalk that out over there. Let me just check. Christopher, is that, I see that you're on Facebook. Can you just let me know if that's on sideways or if it's on properly? That would be the big question. Just want to find out if I'm sideways or if I'm, sometimes it goes sideways and I don't know why. It's a weird feature. I'm just watching to see if our live feed's coming up. Yeah, it looks like it's sideways. All right, so I'm going to turn this little unit maybe this way and see if we can get this someplace normal. Yeah, what's the chances of that happening? All right, so there we go. Yeah, I was sideways. Perfect. Oh, I got some music playing here somewhere. Sounds like Paul Oakenfold playing. Holy crap. Hey, this is a great this is a great intro. Hey everybody, Wade T. Lightheart, live and loud Monday night coaching session. I'm excited to, wherever you are joining us from here. Of course, we've been doing this from the PH Alliance for a long, long time. And of course, we're now doing it on Facebook as well, and on YouTube Live, if you can believe all of those components. I'm going to hold this sideways here, see how we make it out. Today's lesson of the day, we're going to talk about a point in business that I think is really, really important, and that is when to pivot. What is pivoting? How do you use it in your business? What's it relate to? You can apply this in relationships. You can apply this in business. You can apply this in health. Basically, it's what is a pivot? How do you use it? So if you look at the definition of a pivot, thanks, Mark. So they got that there, buddy. The greatest starfighter pilot in the galaxy, I might tell you. A pivot is a sharp pin which something rotates around. That's the definition. It's also a key player or position, or it's a person who is having a major factor, role, function, or effect in your business. And then, of course, the other thing, maybe the most obvious, is if you're into basketball, pivoting would be like you have to rotate your body while maintaining one foot on the floor. So what does all that mean? Well, whenever you're in business, whatever you're setting out your goals, your dreams, your lifestyle, whatever you want, I always look at, if you go back to our Vision Traction Organizer, and it's in some of our other previous webinars, is you set forth the vision, and then you break down your vision into a 10-year, a 3-year, a 1-year, and then a 90-day sprint. And inside of that, you set specific goals in order to hi there, guys, in order to make that happen. So the thing is, you set the goals, you got your vision, you break it down, your goals, whatever that is, you try and break that down to 90 days, because that's about all the length of time that the brain can stay on that. And you go off and you implement, quote unquote, a strategy. The strategy is basically the methodology that you're going to use to achieve whatever goal it is, and that goal needs to be aligned with your vision. Now, a lot of people will just kind of randomly do things all over the place and they never get anywhere. They spin their wheels. So instead of pivoting, they just kind of spin in circles. And a lot of people this way, especially in social media, especially the way the world's geared today with so many distractions, it's easy to lose focus. It's easy to get caught up in the latest, greatest pie in the sky and all that sort of stuff. So the question is what do I mean by a pivot, and how do you leverage it in your business? Well, or how do you invest it? Maybe you could do this in your physical, your financial, spiritual. So let's go back to Vision Traction Organizer. You've broken it down, your big vision, your 10-year, 3-year, 1-year, and then now you're down to 90 days. You got your goals. You've implemented a strategy, and then you take action on that strategy, and those actions produce a result. I think the result factor should be broken down into 90 days. 90 days, you can get a lot done you can accomplish a lot as far as taking action. Anything under 90 days, I don't know if it's a really well thought out strategy. If you're trying to implement something new in your life, you're trying to hit a new income level, have a new fitness level, have a new maybe interaction with in your relationship, maybe get results or benefits from a spiritual based program, whatever it happens to be. You know, anything under 90 days, I mean, come on, man. I mean, of course, you need time to get things, especially if it's a new skill, a new ability. And when you go through that new ability, there's a struggle phase. And that's part of the process. And then eventually you get a little bit more competent and a little bit more confident and you get up to where you want to be. But when you're in that struggle, so let's just say that you've gone through that first 90-day sequence. You've set a goal. You've implemented a strategy. You've taken action, and then you produce a result. So here's how you get to the pivot, right? And you probably don't even need to pivot at this point. Or the pivot is, so what happens is you look, okay, was the strategy I'm taking towards my goal sound? And you check that. And sometimes you need, so that's where external advice comes in. That's where expertise comes in. Expertise largely in part provides you the most effective strategy so you're not wasting your time. Second, was the action I've taken in this endeavor, okay, I took a bunch of actions towards achieving this goal, okay, where am I on that? So I've got my vision, I got my goal, I've implemented a strategy with some expert guidance and advice, and then I've taken action. Okay, now we're going to examine our actions. Was our actions in alignment with the strategy? Did we put what I call all-out massive action? Did you put enough effort into the activity component of the strategy? Because some people are good strategists and some people are good at taking action. Very few people are good at both. It's just human nature. There's strategists and there's action takers. And then there's finally the results. And so, so the results, when you're looking at that, okay, first, is my goals aligned with my vision? Okay, and you say yes. Was my strategy sound? Yes. Did I take all of the action that I needed? And you go, well, I probably could have worked a little bit harder. I think I got maybe 70% of the action that I thought I could get. So, hey guys. So 70%, so that led me to the results. I go, well, I didn't hit my goal. I got maybe halfway there, but I didn't put 100% effort. Would you pivot at that point? No. You go, okay, wait a second. I think I can up my action. I think I can increase my action. I think I can learn. What was that? Well, why didn't I take enough action? Well, because I got lazy. Well, why did you get lazy? Well, I got distracted. Okay, what did you get distracted by? How do you eliminate those distractions on a daily basis? And that's really upgrading your accountability program, whether that's leveraging friends in a bet that you don't want to lose, whether that's having an accountability process from a coach or a mentor or a business partner that is holding you accountable to your vision, your goals, your strategy, your action, and your results, particularly your action. All right. So then you might run that another 90 days. In the next 90 days, you found out that you got 100%, you did 95% effort. Let's say you got 95. That's a big improvement. And you did get better results. You're not yet quite to where you set yourself up. You're not ready at the promised land. You haven't hit your goal. Maybe that's an income of $2,000, $5,000, $10,000 a month. Maybe it's you wanted to lose 2 pounds of body fat a week, or 1 pound or 2 pounds, and you're trying to lose 2, but you're only at 1. So you go, okay, was my strategy okay? Yeah. Was my action okay? Yeah. Was my goal okay? Yeah. Was my results good enough? No, my results aren't good enough yet. Okay, can you get a lot more out of your effort at 95%? Probably not. So then you go, okay, well, was my time unrealistic? Do I need a better skill set? Is there something I'm missing? Am I missing a piece of tech? What is it that so now you're doing real assessments. And then I would say You kind of come back, maybe you upgrade to improve the effectiveness of your actions, or you come back and say, oh, maybe I need to upgrade my strategy. Maybe there's some things inside the strategy that I could improve or build on. So if that's the case, then go ahead and do that. Now, I would say that at 6 months, so 2 90-day cycles, assuming that you're working hard, assuming that the strategy is good, assuming that it's in alignment with your vision and goals, at 6 months, I think that's a big telltale point. At 6 months, this is where I think the first pivot point comes. And the first pivot point says, okay, I've kind of went forth on everything that I'm doing here. I think I produced all the results or whatever, but I haven't quite got it. So now I need to pivot. And that means, when I mean a pivot, you got to adjust one of these areas. You need to adjust the strategy. You need to adjust the goal. Maybe you need to adjust your vision. That's probably the least likely. Maybe you need to adjust the process. I would say that's oftentimes the most likely. And then maybe you got to adjust the vehicle. Maybe you're trying to get, let's say you're talking about your business, you're trying to get 100 new customers, but you went out and decided that you're going to put flyers out all over the neighborhood because you heard that that worked. And you put out 500 flyers in the neighborhood and you got 3 customers. So you're like, was that a good strategy? Well, did I do the strategy? I don't know how good the strategy was, but did I take the action? Yeah, I put 500. Did I get results? Yeah, 3. Okay, if I go out and put out, how many of these do I need to put out in how many neighborhoods in order to get 3 customers? Well, 500 at least, based on what you're into. So can you upgrade the offer? Can you upgrade the strategy? Maybe you could do a Facebook social media program. Instead of putting it out onto flyers stuck on telephone poles, maybe you could do a local marketing campaign. Might cost you a little bit more money, save you more time, but you can reach way more people and can follow up with the results. Maybe that's a better strategy for you. Okay, so that's a pivot. You're pivoting from putting the flyers on the poles to moving to a Facebook strategy. Or you might say, you know what, instead of putting these on poles, I'm actually going to get door hangers this time, and I'm going to go onto people's doors and hang these door hangers. I'm just using this as a hypothetical. Okay, I'm using this as a hypothetical so you kind of get where I'm going. So you implement the new strategy, and instead of putting up 500 flyers up, you're going to put door hangers on 500 homes. So you do that for the next 90 days. Your action's good, your strategy's upgrade. And guess what? You ended up getting 6 customers. You doubled your results. But your goal is that you want like 100 customers. So then you go, wait a second. So at that point you go, okay, I need to pivot a little bit. I've got 500 out, I got 6. That means in order, assuming I get this result, 500 door hangers, I need to put out, how many that would be. You need to, like, if it's 6, you're gonna need what, 17 or something like that, 18. You're gonna need to put out 18, 19, almost 20. You're gonna have to put out you're gonna have to put out like 16 to 17 times the amount of door hangers. So can you do that? That's 9,000, let's say 10,000 door hangers to get 100 customers. Can you do that? Well, you said, how much time did it take me to do this? That doesn't really work out. I need to hire somebody. How much cost? This is how you start to pivot a little bit on the strategy and the action process. Or you go, no, you know what? I'm actually going to go to a marketing campaign for people who are looking for this particular product or stuff. I'm going to use targeted ads. I can run the whole thing from my website, and I'm going to pivot and use that. That's the idea of a pivot. So a pivot is that you make an adjustment, and oftentimes you don't want to do a total adjustment. You just want to do a partial adjustment. I'll give you an idea where that happened for me, so you can get a real world example of something. And now keep in mind, usually when you're coming up with these decisions, you're experiencing a little bit of pain. You're experiencing that your results aren't where your goals are. They're not in alignment with your goals. You've set out forth, you set a strategy, right or wrong. So you got to start all over again. So you go, what am I going to do? So in my own case, I'll give you an example. So a few years ago, I was looking to get my residence in Panama, and I hired a lawyer in order to help me do that. I felt this was the best move for my business career, my personal career. I moved down to Panama. I hired a lawyer. We went forth with the strategy, rented a place, did all that stuff. We got all the way to the lawyer's thing. The lawyer ended up passing me off to another lawyer. We took that lawyer. We went through a whole process, and this was months and months and months and months. Okay, we got through all that. I got ready, submitted to the office, and for whatever reason, after all the paperwork, everything was supposed to look good, it didn't work out. I'm literally like 9 months into the process. I get out, that doesn't work out. We've got to do some more things. I've got to get more passes. I got to come back to Canada, do the stuff. I go everything. I come back down. It's like another 3-6 months. I plan another piece out. That person moved away. My lawyer moved away. I had to get another lawyer. So I'm on my third lawyer now. My third lawyer is going through the process. We get ready to submit the application again. The lawyer decides they can't do it. I get another lawyer. I pay the fourth lawyer. I'm 18 months into this program. I'm on my fourth lawyer. We're going through the process and everything. We get ready to submit again. They throw up another piece to me, which happens a lot in what I call Central American cultures. A lot of people don't want to tell you no, or so they won't tell you the last minute. Anyways, it was going to be another 3 to 6 months before I go. I'm now 2 years into the process. I'm sitting on my balcony. I'm upset about it. I'm devastated about it. I'm frustrated about it. And I go, you know what? I need to do something. The universe is blocking me here. Something's not flowing. Something's not working. I had a meditation on my balcony. It streams in. I'm going about this the wrong way. I need to recalibrate and to pivot. So I came back to Vancouver for a short period of time and said, let's see if this works out. And I started doing that. I get a call from a friend. He invites me to come to California to check out some opportunities for my business. It's really good. He refers me to a legal firm, says, why don't you look for a visa process? Come down here. I think it's going to be great for business. I'm like, okay, you know what? It didn't work out over here. I'm going to try this pathway. I go through that process. I hire the lawyer. I go through, it's like 10 times more detailed than the other one, and it's twice as expensive. But we go through this process. Now, in the middle of this, I'm getting ready to submit. We had to change within that. We had to make another pivot in that from one visa to another visa. That takes another 6 months. So I'm 2 years into this process. I'm 2 years into a move that I think is going to be good for my business. I'm on my 5th set of lawyers. I'm in my 2nd country. I pivot again. I get the stuff. But on the way, I'm going back and forth across the border. I have a border issue. They wondering what's going on with my visa, of course. I'm in interrogation for 8 hours. I get shut down again. I'm frustrated. I'm beaten up. I haven't produced the result I want. I've spent all this money. I've got world-class expertise. I've taken all-out massive action. Everything seems aligned, but I just keep not getting the result I want. So I go, what do I need to do? I said, you know what? I'm going to relax. I'm not going to put pressure on myself. I rent a place here in Vancouver. It's awesome. Love it. My dream home here. Literally, I'm in my favorite house I've ever been. I got a beautiful penthouse here. I've always been dreamed here. I came here. I said, you know, I'm going to take this back in my control. I'm going to let this play out without putting so much pressure on myself. I do that. Within 3 months, I get my, and this just happened last week. I get my visa, no time flat, everything's smooth. The lawyers that I got were right. Everything was detailed. I got, fast tracked through the process, went through it. Boom, I got it. So what I'm saying here is in that process, I took 6 pivots total, right? Pivots with the different lawyers, pivot with the different locations, and then a pivot about how much pressure I was putting on myself to get the result because that was creating anxiety. Guess what? As soon as I did that, everything worked out. Bang. Wow. And why am I telling you this? Well, what I'm here to tell you, share with you, is that if you're in your business, you're trying to make more money, you're trying to, or maybe you're trying to have a better relationship, or maybe you're trying to get in shape, whatever it is, you need to, number one, get expert strategy. Number two, you need to take full all-out massive action. You cannot take all-out massive action in 5 different areas, okay? That's another mistake people make. Take it in one area and drill deep and stay on it till you get the result that you want. And you keep pivoting, whether it's your strategy, your goal, your process, or the vehicle you're using trying to get there, the methodology that you're using. That is how you leverage a pivot in your life. And this happens in relationships. You get in a relationship, you go down the world, you're in love with somebody, you're planning your future, whatever. All of a sudden, something changes. Somebody gets sick, somebody falls in love with somebody else. I don't know, finances go sideways, a baby comes, who knows? You make a pivot. In your financial life, you know, maybe you look back to 2008, one of my top distributors got involved because he was high flying, very successful, making millions of dollars, all kinds of property stuff. All of a sudden the market falls apart, he loses everything. He had to make a really big pivot. That's a really big pivot. Really big pivot. Tough, very tough, but now that person's life is way better than it ever has. So I think it's also important to recognize is when you're watching, like when you're taking a looking at your life, physical, financial, emotional, relationship, spiritual. Okay, which thing are you working on this 90 days? Try and get everything else on a maintenance, but if you're trying to break through to another level, that's going to take all of your attention and all of your focus, because you're going to be adjusting your action plan. You're going to be making these little adjustments that are really important for you to do, because if you don't do that, you know, like you don't know if you're producing the result. You don't know if your strategy's right. You don't know if your action's right. You don't know if you've waited long enough. But the bottom line is 90 days is usually the standard. And I think usually 6 months to a year is what you need for what I would call 6 months would be a minor pivot. 1 year would be a major pivot. Okay. 1 year would be a major pivot. That's like where you've got to really just rethink the whole thing. 6 months, you make an adjustment, you stay on it. And if you can't, if you start losing track of the goal, if the goal isn't exciting for you anymore, it probably wasn't a really good goal for you in the first place. It was probably a goal that you got infected in that you should have. It wasn't a must-have. Your goals need to be musts. As opposed to just writing down a bunch of lists of things to do, the goal means I must do this. I'm willing to put everything into this. And if it's in an area that maybe you haven't had success for prior to, then you have to recognize is that, well, 90 days is enough to get results. It's probably not enough to ultimately maintain that level of success. I've found that it takes 12 to 18 months to solidify a level, whether that's a level of income, whether that's a level of communication, maybe in a relationship, whether it's the ability to maintain a diet and exercise program, whether it's a consistent spiritual effort, like maybe meditating every day or journaling every day or, you know, going to a course, whatever it happens to be. I find it's about 12 to 18 months, and you're going to have these, what I call these 90-day kind of check-ins on your results, and your pivot points come about every 6 months to every 12 months on that. That's how you use a pivot. So here's the thing. Now I'm going to bring this home for you so it's relative to your life, your business, your goals. So I'd like for you to write down right now, what is the number one thing that you want to get done? What's the most important thing for you right now? Like, what is the one thing that in the next 90 days would really make you excited? Like, what would make you pumped? Like, if you just had that, Now it's got to be hot enough. It's got to be sexy enough. You got to want it bad enough that you're like, okay, you know what? I'm willing to do whatever it takes to get this. I'm willing to sacrifice some of the other things in my life, right? So for example, I'll give you an example. For me right now, I realized that all the traveling and all the pressure and stuff, my weight got too high, right? I'm a health guy. I'm a fitness guy. I love to have fun. I've been traveling around, eating food I shouldn't, you know, all that sort of stuff. Bottom line, I'm like, so the other day I'm like, okay, you know what, Wade? You got to get on your eating program. Now the good news is I know the strategy. I know the action I take, and I know how to monitor my results because I've done that a million times. So it's easy for me. I know 90 days, bingo, I'm right back to where I want. I'm willing to let go of some of the things that I wasn't willing to give up 6 months ago. I'm willing to do that because I know how to do this. Now I'm another area in my life on the financial side where I'm trying to do something I've never done before. I won't get into the details, but it's a new thing. And it's a stretch, right? It's a big stretch. And so I'm like, okay, I hired the right person to give me the strategy. I'm looking at my goal for the next 9 days, and I'm looking at my action plan of how I'm doing that, and I'm executing on that. But if I compared that financial goal with the physical goal, I'm absolutely certain I've got the right strategy. I know the process, and I just got to go execute it. With the financial goal, I'm absolutely certain of the strategy. I'm not so clear about how good I am going to be on the action. So if I was to tell you what's going to happen in 90 days, I would suggest this. In 90 days' time, I'm sure I'll hit my fitness goals, and I will have produced results in my financial stuff that will determine approximately how much longer I'm going to stick with it. And so recognize when you're setting these points and setting up your time and where you're going to go is to recognize it's like, well, how much time, like, if it's something that you've done and been there and know what to do, and you can set your 90 days, you can pretty much know what the results are. But if you've never done it, even if you have the right strategy, it'll probably take you a little bit longer because you're not as efficient, you're not as certain of your effort, confidence can be affected, you might become easily distracted, or you have to overcome your old patterns of behavior. So for example, I'll give you another area of my life. So, and I'm sharing these personal stories with you because I want to let you know is like, I don't have everything figured out here. I'm still working on all these other areas. So let's say I got one that's on communication I'm working on, right? So I've hired 2 different psychologists in communication so that I can show up in this one area of my life better for communication. Now, I've got the strategy and I got the experts and I got an accountability process. But I watched myself, and I was just doing this literally this morning. My partner's talking to me about something in my relationship, and I know what I'm supposed to do. I know what the strategy is, but I found I defaulted to my own pattern of communicating, which is not the pattern I want to enjoy. So I realized it's like, okay, I'm not producing the results I want because I haven't been able to convert the strategy into consistent action. It's on sometimes if I'm focused, but if I'm not focused, I default to the old one. So it's going to take me a little bit more work. So what do? I book another session with my psychologist. I read a little bit more about it. I try to be more conscientious. I come back to my partner later today. I said, hey, you know what? I want to work on this piece. Can we chat about that tonight? So I realized that my level of proficiency isn't as good as this area that I really know really well and I really understand. So when you're looking at your own life, your own goals, your own vision, what you want to have done, okay, you need, again, we're going to go through these again. Figure out the strategy, get an expert to help you, set your goal within that strategy, get the expert to help you set that goal because they'll be able to measure your results, build an accountability process, make sure that goal is aligned with your life vision. Okay, define the process, what you need to get done on a daily basis, not a weekly basis, you need to know what you're doing every single day and determine if what the vehicle, the methodology you're using is solid. And if you're going from, that's where a strategist comes in really well. They can kind of give you that advice and set the forth, give you the tools, maybe give you the measurement systems and stuff. but you're going to have to put the effort in. And the less you know about a topic, or the less that you've done, or the more uncertain that you have about something, the less likely that you are going to produce the result you want. The more competent that you are in an area, the more ability you have, and the stronger the chances that you're going to implement and be successful in that strategy go up exponentially. So you have to adjust those. And then as you get results, so let's say in this area, after the next 90 days, look on my communication side, and I'm like, okay, did I improve? Yes, I did. Am I where I want to be? No. So what do I need to do based on the actions I took last month to maybe double or triple my result? I don't know what those are right now, but I will know then. And so that's the piece that you have to figure out. If I haven't done it before, your chances of guessing it are low. If you have done it before, your chances of figuring that out are really high. And so that is what the pivot is. And then a pivot just means that you change things. You change things a little bit. You change with the market. You change with the messaging. You change with your lifestyle. You change what's going on. Those are the ways that you kind of make adjustments as you go, because very seldom, if you talk to any business leader or anybody successful in just about anything, they might have started, you work your way backward from the ultimate goal. But the chances of you knowing all the little pieces in that, especially the bigger the goal, the longer the time frame, the more pivots you're going to have to make. So that's my whole message on pivoting today. I hope you enjoyed it. You can say a little Facebook checkout or ping up or whatever. Be looking forward to that. And then ultimately, for all my friends, we're going to be seeing you down in the U.S. real soon. I'm up here in Vancouver. I see some people are asking about it. I'll be coming down before the fall comes. I'm looking forward to it. But again, see if you can put this pivot strategy. I would go back to one of my further ones and talk about how to get Vision Traction Organizer, or watch or get the book, actually, Traction by Gino Wickman. It's a great book, and it explains the process of vision, traction, or how to take your vision and get traction with it. We use it in a variety of my businesses. It's how we monitor our goals, our dreams, our vision. It's how we manage our action process each and every week. And this creates an accountability process and allows you to pivot in a way that you're just not randomly swiveling in the wind. There's a strategic component that you are measuring your results and getting the results you want. So that's it for me. I'm Way T. Lightheart. We're here every Monday night for the No We BS rants. I look forward to seeing you, getting your comments. You can post them on YouTube, Facebook, or wherever you happen to find us. I really appreciate you joining us today. Thanks so much, and God bless. We love you, and we love hearing your feedback. Take care, and go out and find out whatever it is in your life that you want to do, and nail it. Just knock it out of the park, because you deserve to do it. You were born to achieve.